Baby's first public appearance. Yu Long and young Mei Mei step out with their child. Chaos ensues. The entertainment world has witnessed breathtaking moments before. We've seen red carpets lit up by glittering gowns, shocking confessions that brought industries to a halt, and romances that felt too perfect to be real. But what unfolded this weekend shattered every standard. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. Because for the very first time, Yu Long and young Mei Mei did the unthinkable. They brought their baby. Not in secret, not in leaked footage, but in the blazing spotlight of a major public event. And the result? Pure beautiful chaos. The unexpected announcement. It started with a press release that nobody believed at first. Yu Long and young Mei Mei to attend the Beijing International Film Gala, with a special guest. Within seconds, social media exploded. Could it really mean the baby? Fans didn't dare hope. They speculated it might just be a symbolic statement, maybe a video montage, maybe nothing more. But when the night finally arrived, the truth was louder than any rumor. The red carpet frenzy. The gala's red carpet had already been buzzing with big names. Glittering gowns, sharp tuxedos, the usual flashes of cameras. But then, a hush fell over the crowd. The MC's voice shook slightly as she announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, Yu Long and young Mei Mei." The carpet parted like an ocean. Security tightened. And then, they appeared. Yu Long walked out first in a perfectly tailored black suit. His presence commanding enough to silence an entire crowd. But his hand wasn't empty. He was pushing a sleek white stroller. Beside him, young Mei Mei glowed in an elegant silk gown, her smile soft, maternal, breathtaking. And inside the stroller, wrapped in a delicate cream blanket, was the child everyone had been waiting for. The moment the baby was revealed. At first, the stroller canopy shielded her. Fans leaned forward, desperate, some even holding their breath. Then Yu Long paused mid-carpet, his hand reaching down. Slowly, deliberately, he pulled back the cover. And there she was. Baby. Their baby. Wide-eyed, cheeks rosy under the flashing lights, staring curiously at the world around her as if she already knew she was born into history. The screams were deafening. Fans sobbed openly. Photographers nearly fell over one another, cameras clicking furiously as they tried to capture every angle of the tiny starlet who had just stolen the show. Chaos erupts. What was supposed to be a glamorous red carpet moment spiraled into something entirely new. Fans surged forward not aggressively, but emotionally, holding up handmade signs with messages like, "Welcome little princess," and "We love you forever." Security guards formed a tight ring, but even they couldn't hide their awe. Some were caught on camera smiling softly as the baby giggled at the flashing lights. Online live streams crashed. Millions tuned in from every continent. Hashtags instantly topping global charts. It wasn't just China watching anymore. The entire world had turned its eyes on this child. Celebrities react live. Other stars at the gala were visibly stunned. Cameras caught actresses in couture gowns covering their mouths, tears in their eyes. One veteran actor leaned over to a reporter and whispered, "I've been in this industry for 40 years, and I've never seen anything like this." Inside the theater, performers delayed their stage entrances just to catch a glimpse of the baby as Yu Long and young Mei Mei made their way past. It wasn't a red carpet anymore. It was a coronation. The family moment that melted hearts. But the most unforgettable moment wasn't the chaos or the cameras or the hashtags. It came when Yu Long carefully lifted his daughter out of the stroller and cradled her against his chest. Under the harsh flashing lights, he bent his head, kissed her gently on the forehead, and whispered, loud enough for nearby microphones to catch, "Don't be afraid, little one. The world is yours, but we'll always protect you." Young Mei Mei reached for his arm, leaning her head against his shoulder. The three of them stood there, frozen in time, a family untouchable, legendary. The crowd roared. People who had never believed in love stories before admitted later that this was the moment they finally did. Aftermath. A global meltdown. By the time the gala ended, The internet was no longer functioning normally. Hashtag Yulong family trended #1 in 37 countries. Entertainment sites crashed under the flood of photo downloads. Fan accounts turned into baby photo archives within hours. Even politicians and global figures joined the frenzy, with one European prime minister tweeting, "In a divided world, tonight Yulong and young Mei Mei reminded us what love looks like." The future. What comes next? As the family slipped out of the venue, escorted through a tunnel of flashing lights, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a baby reveal. This was the beginning of a new era. No longer just celebrities, Yulong and young Mei Mei had become something far more powerful. Symbols of love. Living proof that fairy tales can be real. And their daughter, whether she grows up to be a singer, actress, artist, or something entirely different, had already claimed her place in history before she could even walk. The night will forever be remembered not as just another gala, but as the moment chaos turned into legend. The shoot nobody thought possible. Behind closed doors in a luxury Shanghai studio, preparations had been underway for weeks. Stylists flew in from Paris, photographers from New York, even lighting specialists from Seoul. The reason? Yulong and young Mei Mei weren't just celebrities anymore. They were global symbols of love, grace, and family. And their baby, the world's most talked about child, was about to be introduced not in grainy paparazzi shots, but in a carefully crafted masterpiece. Arrival at the studio. On the morning of the shoot, the street outside the studio was packed with journalists and fans, hoping for a glimpse of the family. Security was tighter than at a presidential summit. At exactly 9 a.m., a sleek black van pulled up. Out stepped young Mei Mei in an effortlessly chic cream trench coat, hair tied back in a neat bun. Behind her, Yulong followed, casual yet sharp in a black cashmere sweater. And then, the baby carried gently in Mei Mei's arms, wrapped in a pale lavender blanket. Witnesses say the street went silent. Even the reporters lowered their cameras for a moment, simply soaking in the sight. The photoshoot. Scenes that took our breath away. Inside, the studio was transformed into a dreamscape. White roses lined the walls, soft golden light streamed through massive windows, and the atmosphere felt more like a film set than a photoshoot. The first setup was simple. Yulong seated in a high-backed chair, holding his daughter on his lap, her tiny hands clutching his finger. The photographer whispered, "Perfect, hold that. Don't move." Blick, blick, blick. In the second setup, young Mei Mei stood in flowing silk, cradling the baby against her shoulder, her face turned softly toward the light. She looked less like a superstar and more like a Renaissance painting brought to life. But the most unforgettable shot of all was saved for last. The three of them together. Yulong standing tall behind Mei Mei, his arm wrapped around her waist. Mei Mei leaning into him, holding their child in the center, as if presenting her to the world. The baby's eyes were wide, curious, almost smiling, staring straight into the camera lens as though she knew exactly what she was doing. When the shutter clicked, the entire studio fell silent. The photographer lowered his camera, tears in his eyes. "That's it," he whispered. "That's the cover." The reveal, a global storm. Weeks later, the issue hit stands. The cover was unveiled first online, and within 10 minutes, servers crashed under the flood of downloads. The image was everywhere. Times Square billboards, Tokyo skyscraper screens, Paris boutique displays. People stopped in the streets to point at the photograph. Newspapers called it the most iconic magazine cover of the decade. Celebrities from around the globe shared it on their personal pages, with one K-pop idol writing, "This isn't just a cover. It's history." Fans' emotional reactions. The fan base, already deeply invested, lost control. Social media turned into a flood of emotional posts. "I never believed in fairy tales, but this is real. Their baby looks like she's blessing the whole world with just her eyes. This family is rewriting what it means to be icons." Fan artists drew sketches. Designers created mock film posters. and parents worldwide said they felt inspired to pose with their own children in similar styles. The legacy begins. What makes this so monumental is that it wasn't just about glamour. It was about storytelling. A young couple who grew under the spotlight, endured the scrutiny, held on to each other, and now presented their greatest love to the world in the most breathtaking way possible. And the baby. Before she could even say her first word, she had already become a symbol of hope, of innocence, of the future. Industry insiders now whisper that this photoshoot wasn't just a one-off. That Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei's child may become a recurring muse for campaigns, a face that could redefine family-centered branding in Asia. This wasn't just a photoshoot. It was a declaration. And if this story touched you, subscribe and share it so we can keep his memory alive together. The Yu family has arrived. And the world is watching.